Hey everybody, Hindi and Chayale here, and we are here to give you some bad advice. Just kidding. We are going to share with you some bad advice that we have heard, and we kind of want to nitpick and tear apart what we don't like about it and see what you think. Hey everybody, back to our hard pass segment, and we have responded to your inquiries and, in this case, criticism, which we were so happy to receive because it's always good to get feedback. All feedback is welcome here. And the feedback that we got when we asked what were some of the awful advice that you've heard in your life or that you've been given, and one person responded with trust the connection. And I thought it was really important for us to address it. What do you think, Kyla?
Yeah, like definitely if someone felt like a relationship principle guided them in the wrong direction, I would love to explore that.
Right?
So important. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So thank you, whoever you are, for having the courage to say something. And so let's talk about trust the connection. I think that first of all, when it comes to the principles, as we always encourage women to do, it's so important to get advice or get help from a coach. And we're not saying this because we want clients. We're saying this because we really want to help and we want people to know the truth of the relationship principles. And sometimes it takes a bit of finesse and nuance to really understand how to apply a principle in a situation.
Yeah. In general, I think one of the things, if you're interested in this segment where we're going through advice and why it's not working for people, an overarching theme is that when you take a piece of advice and try and apply it, it's very possible it's just not going to be right for you. There's so much there's so many complexities in an individual's life and experience that, yeah, it's possible that even if this advice is good for hundreds of people, it's not good for you, or that maybe it needs to be tweaked for your situation, or maybe it needs to be understood differently in your situation. There's just definitely a lot of elements that need to be explored. And I can speak for myself, and you can tell me if you agree or not. As a coach, when I'm in a session, I'm working with the person. I'm not married to the principles in a way of like, these are the principles, they must like copy paste. We have to, you kind of just have to fit into this box of like, this is how we do it, and there's no way around it. Within the principles themselves, they're incredibly broad. There's a lot of flexibility, there's a lot of depth. And then also, obviously, I'm listening to you and your situation. And if something's not working for somebody, I'm ready as a coach to modify, to explore what modifications are necessary or which pieces of a principle do apply in the situation and don't. And then I'm also ready to say to a client, if the moment comes, this is not the right modality for you. It looks like you and you use a different type of support. And 100% okay. I don't claim to have the answer and the solution for every single marriage in the world and for every single woman. And we are so blessed to have so many resources when it comes to healing and growth and relationships and all of that. So yeah, not everything has to work for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. So two things on that. First of all, listen, I do think that people could listen to the podcast and take away a lot and work on a lot of things on their own. And I think we get a lot of feedback that people do. I think it takes a certain amount of self-awareness to know when your situation needs a little bit more personal guidance than just application of new ideas. So for example, right, so when it comes to trust the connection, trust the connection is a really big principle. And I wouldn't like, I'm speaking for us, Hyla, but we wouldn't necessarily bring that principle in, definitely not as a first thing to turn to, if we're talking about a situation where someone is an addict or mental illness or something really intense that a woman is going through with her husband. it's really just not one of the first principles that we would be applying at all. So I hear that. I could hear completely where that could be misplaced, 100%. And it's important for people to know that and to hear that. It's not a one size fits all. It's also nuanced, right? Like there isn't just like a trust the connection that's just a blind trust. When getting coached, a woman will hear the discernment of what level of trust the coach thinks is important for her to implement. And sometimes a coach, I've definitely heard Sarah get to say this, where this is completely misplaced and she should not be working on trust right now. She should be working on something completely different if she wants to invest in her relationship. So a very good point that someone is bringing, and I agree, having trust the connection as an always and a constant and to every situation. True.
I think in general, a woman shouldn't be in pain and she shouldn't be suffering in her relationship. And advice that is causing you, like as a general rule, advice that is causing you more frustration and more pain and more hurt. And if you feel like you're silencing yourself or you're overriding yourself in the name of this advice, you know, like I tell my kids when they're trying to like put in a battery or close a toy and they're like banging it in. And I'm like, if you have to force it, you're not doing it right. Like if it feels hard and like you're about to break it in the name of putting it together, something's wrong about how you're doing it. And I find one of the things that I actually love about relationship is that was the first place where I felt like, okay, this feels natural. This feels like I'm doing, I have an instruction manual to put this together and I'm not trying to smash two things together and force them. So yeah, when you're implementing something and it feels like very, very forced and very unnatural and like you're banging, you know, you kind of have that banging experience, yeah, that needs to be looked at. And you deserve better. And there is better. It might be that you need to have a conversation with a coach and figure out the nuance for you. It's not necessarily that you can't apply trust the connection. It's just how, when, and what. So I think, I don't know if you accept, but I don't want to go full hard pass on trust the connection because I actually think it's an incredible principle and it has a lot to offer. But I will go hard pass on whatever your experience was of trust the connection that brought you more frustration, more anguish, and more pain, and would love for you to have an opportunity to explore it in a way that honored your particular situation.
I love that. Beautiful.
We would love to hear your feedback, thoughts, and questions.
Please leave a comment below or email us at yourrelationship@gmail.com.
Looking forward to connecting with you.
See you next time.